During today's podcast on acupuncture, I will tell you the upsides and the downsides to acupuncture. I will get views from those who perform acupuncture and from a patient who has tried it out. I will also draw from some of the top medical journals to tell you the benefits of acupuncture, and I will weigh the benefits with the downsides. You may think to yourself, why would anyone try this? Well, it has many benefits, both physically and mentally. Later in this podcast, we'll hear a confession from someone who tried it to reap the mental benefits. For now, according to Aligned Modern Health and Johns Hopkins Medical Center, acupuncture is good for your mental health. It can help with stress relief by lowering the stress hormones in the body and by reducing anxiety. I've heard that the relaxing music in the room can mimic and provide the same level of relaxation as a spa visit. The relaxation can also help people cope with nervous habits, such as smoking. The relaxation alongside the detoxification can help reduce nicotine cravings. Acupuncture can also help with the enhanced mental clarity and increased energy. It especially helps improve sleep, which is where that mental clarity roots from. There are also a lot of physical benefits of acupuncture, such as reduced joint pain. It can help provide pain relief and it can reduce inflammation, especially when you put needles in above the neck. It can help reduce eye strain related to neck tension. It can also improve your immune system by fighting off pathogens, which reduces the duration of colds. And it helps with allergy relief because it works alongside antihistamines. It can also help those who suffer from digestive conditions by regulating the digestive system. There are lots of benefits to acupuncture, and as far as the acupuncture process goes, I'll play a sound clip from an interviewer and Dr. Carol Braverman so that you can understand what the acupuncture process is like and what it were to be like if you were to experience it yourself.
So I think once you get past that first treatment,
definitely,
most people are like, yeah, I'm hooked. It doesn't hurt. It's wonderful stuff.
Yeah. So part of that's in the intake. It's building trust.
Wonderful.
Getting them to relax, and they're usually vigilant. I tell them the first time, but after that they know the drill. And sometimes they're like, "Aren't you done yet? Can't you leave already?" Because they start spacing out. Or zoning out, not spacing out.
So tell me about what a session looks like. So I come to you. What's the intake look like, and how long is a session?
Well, I try not to wear you down by talking too much and asking too many questions. At this point, I can sort of get a lot of information just observationally, and then you have a chart. It's a pretty extensive chart with a review of systems. It mirrors the Western intake form. And then it's tongue and pulse. You lie on the table, hopefully loose, comfortable clothing, and palpation, a little palpation of the pulse, look at the tongue, and then the first time I would do just the minimum needles. And I tend to use a lot of needles, but light. I like eddies and flows, not a big, heavy lamp.
So you're not going deep into the...
It's an inference.
And there is a difference then with that, because I've actually had acupuncture where they go deep into the tissue and
I do that thing.
Yeah, and then you do feel it. But the light ones are just, they're almost pleasurable.
Like yes, exactly. Or they don't feel it at all, but they're kind of connecting the dots as they go. And they're, sometimes they'll just even use ear needles when it comes to where there's not much tissue.
Now, do I need to disrobe when I come to you?
No, it's usually I can just get to most points.
Most points usually.
And then if it's doing the back, take your shirt off kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's relative. I can feel fairly comfortable regardless
of
definitely. Male, female.
Oh no, I am completely bashful, and and my friend in New York, we used to treat each other, and we didn't have time, so we just went through our clothes. so if somebody's worried at all, I have no problem with it, as long as they're okay with it.
That's great. And how long does the session typically last?
So the first
needles in, needles out?
No, I figure you came I try to half an hour is a good amount of time. It's 20 minutes is the doctrinaire amount of time, and so
you place the needles and then I lay there with them.
You lay there.
Sit there with them.
I have some sound for you, classical or nature. I have a heated table with a biomat. I have it's just try to keep you warm with the heat lamp or the cover or whatever, and. It's just the intake is about 20 minutes or a little longer sometimes because we have paperwork, and then 30 minutes on the table, and then a few minutes after, and they come out really fast, as you know.
Oh, they do. Yeah. And when they're ready to come out, you don't even know they've been.
I know, isn't that amazing?
I know that sometimes because you do the moxibustion, but it's like you can tell they're not ready, and then all of a sudden they just slide.
Yeah. Every once in a while they're like, I'm not ready yet.
Yes. Like, okay, we'll leave that one on the line.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Sounds non-threatening.
No, it's not threatening.
So I highly recommend that if you've not tried acupuncture, I think it's a wonderful modality to support you along the way. I think it does much for your immune system. Obviously now we know for your neurology.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
in the 21st century, right?
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
It can seem like a scary process at first, but the needles don't seem that scary after all. This was a view from an acupuncturist who tells us what to expect if we were to try out acupuncture. I would say that this was very reassuring to a prospective client. Before we speak to our guests, there are a few things I want to cover. The needles are sterile and inserted at various lengths, and they can stay in from seconds up to a third of an hour. This is the idea of needle manipulation, which is where the acupuncturist inserts the needles in at various lengths for various amounts of time in order to achieve the desired results. This depends on what issues acupuncture sees during the intake process and your initial reason for the visit. When you feel numb or heavy sensations, then it is often a sign that the acupuncturist is working. Acupuncturists can also apply heat or electric current to the needles. This is often something that we can see. Clients will say that they feel electric currents or they feel electric shocks going through their body throughout the acupuncture process, and that is because of an electric current applied to the needle. Next, I want us to hear from our guest host, Erin Murphy, who has tried out acupuncture herself. I'm going to ask her a few questions so that we can understand acupuncture from a client perspective. Hi guys, today we're going to hear from Erin Murphy, and she is going to tell us about her experience with acupuncture. Say hey to us, Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin Murphy.
Okay, so how many times did you try out acupuncture?
I would say I tried out acupuncture probably 20 to 30 different times.
Now, when did you do this?
Back in 2018 to 2019.
Could you expand on why you were trying out acupuncture?
Yeah, so I've dealt with anxiety, so I was doing it kind of based around that. I heard that acupuncture could help stress and relieve any of that, so I started with my anxieties, and then it kind of went into relaxation and just stress and excessive sweat.
So would you say that the acupuncture helped with some of the symptoms of your anxiety, and did it help you get relaxed?
Yes, I always left my appointment super relaxed and confident, and yeah, I would say that at the end of the day, acupuncture did help me with my anxiety.
Did you experience a lot of pain, or was it painful to get the needles stuck into you?
At the start, I was really nervous. I wasn't sure how painful it was going to be, but it was really kind of depending on what spot the needles were being put into. But I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain level was probably like a 2 or 3.
What is the most painful place that you got a needle stuck into?
Probably like your ears was the most painful place, anywhere from like the neck up, the head, scalp.
That's got to be scary. Did you move a lot?
No, I was just wanting to be really still and not move so the needles wouldn't like pop out or anything.
Did you find that hard to stay still? That's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting, but the more you did it, the more you got used to it, and I would recommend it to multiple different people.
Now, a lot of people say that they experience a jolt of energy while they're after they get the needle stuck into them. Did you experience that?
I feel like I came out very calm and relaxed, and then after like an hour, I would say I started to feel super confident and ready to do something. Yeah.
Could you feel like electric currents going through your body while you're doing it?
No, I would say he would play very relaxing, calming music, and I think that the type of acupuncture I was doing was based on my anxiety, so therefore it was trying to be extremely relaxing, and so I wouldn't say there was a jolt of anything.
So, were there any downsides to acupuncture?
I would say no. I would recommend it to multiple people because I think if you have I mean, at least for me it worked. But you know, if you're going in for something that maybe for pain in the body, it might not work. It might. I've heard different stories. So I mean, I would recommend it to anyone who wants to try it.
Now, you went in for anxiety and for some relaxation, but did you notice that it had any other benefits for you? Did it help any other problems that you had?
Yeah, I went in for sweating, and I felt that it was pretty beneficial in that sense. And it was kind of one of those things where I was like, well, maybe I could get it done on my back or for other issues that I was having, because I just felt like the outcome was worth it.
So what other techniques of therapy have you used for calmness and for anxiety?
I've done acupuncture, hypnosis. I've done lots of therapy and neurofeedback.
Would you say that acupuncture was one of the more helpful ones, or would you say that the talk therapy or medication or something would be more helpful?
I would say that talk therapy is definitely very beneficial, at least for me, but I know that acupuncture has helped a lot of people with anxiety or stress. I think mine just is a little bit higher than most people, so I would probably say that talk therapy or hypnosis was the most beneficial for me.
Did the needles leave any scarring on you?
No, I was actually surprised that they didn't.
Any bleeding?
Actually, yeah. I think like in my ears they would bleed, but it was nothing like bad. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, so it wasn't bad at all.
Is there anything else you want to share? I think that's all the questions I have.
I would just say that if you are looking to do acupuncture, you should definitely try it. Just go to the right person and, you know, go into it with a calm state of mind, and you'll really enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Erin. It was so good having you.
Thanks for having me.
Even though Erin did not mention it, others report some disadvantages to acupuncture. For one, it is very expensive. It can be anywhere from $50 to $100 per session. This is about the same as talk therapy, but for acupuncture, you mostly pay for 15 minutes of needle insertion and needle extraction, while the rest of the time is intake and laying with the needles in you. Compared to talk therapy, a chiropractor, hypnosis, or physical therapy, you're getting more hands-on time with a specialist than you are with an acupuncturist. As Erin discussed, acupuncture is not always the best solution for someone who's struggling with a mental or physical ailment. Sometimes talk therapy, hypnosis, medicine, or neurofeedback can be good for someone who is suffering mentally, while a chiropractor, physical therapy, medicine, or special braces can help those who are suffering physically. However, this all depends on the person. Obviously, acupuncture can't heal a broken bone on its own, but it can help with some of the pain. Acupuncture is also something that needs to be performed many times. While medicine is more of a one-time thing with little follow-up, acupuncture needs more sessions in order to see progress. This can be draining not only financially, but also for time purposes. While we are considering the financials, we can consider insurance. While more traditional treatments are covered by insurance, acupuncture isn't always covered because it's not considered necessary. There is always a risk to take while doing acupuncture, such as that the needles are sterile. If you were to get an unsterilized needle, you risk catching viruses such as hepatitis B, hepatitis C, or HIV, and none of those are fun. Needles can often lead to bleeding, scarring, and bruising, and they can also leave you a little sore. But I think while all of these are certainly things to consider, it's good to try it out yourself and to form your own opinion on it. I think that acupuncture is worth a try, and that the interviewer and Erin would have to agree with me. It is good to try it a few times and see if you get the results that you desire, and to make that decision for yourself based on your experiences. And that's all for today on Pins and Needles. Bye. Even though Erin did not mention it, others report some disadvantages to acupuncture. For one, it is very expensive. It can be anywhere from $50 to $100 per session. This is about the same as talk therapy, but for acupuncture, you mostly pay for 15 minutes of needle insertion and needle extraction, while the rest of the time is intake and